You ever notice how we're obsessed with categorizing how people communicate? There are the instant responders, the casual like reactors, the double texters. But then there's a group that defies the digital etiquette entirely. They don't just lag, they vanish, and their silence might be the most misunderstood behavior online. We live in the era of always on. Think about it. It's 2 a.m., and that haunting blue light from your iPhone is the only thing illuminating the room. A Slack notification pings, a WhatsApp message glows. There's this unspoken, invisible expectation that we are machines, available, reachable, and ready to respond at a moment's notice. We've turned basic communication into a high-speed assembly line, where pausing to actually think or breathe feels like a mechanical failure. In this world, presence isn't a choice, it's a constant demand. Picture this. You're sitting on your couch after a long day. Your phone vibrates. You pick it up and see a message from a close friend, someone you genuinely care about, someone you usually love talking to. You read their words, and for a split second, you go to type a reply. But then, something happens. A wave of absolute exhaustion hits you. It's not that you're angry. It's not that they said something wrong. You just can't. You set the phone down, face first, and you do absolutely nothing. This isn't laziness. It isn't a lack of care. Psychologists call this the freeze response, and in our digital age, it has taken on a new, darker form. When your nervous system is already redlining from the sheer volume of daily data, your brain stops seeing a text message as a social connection. Instead, it perceives that little gray bubble as a predator, a threat to your remaining energy. You freeze because your mind is trying to protect you from total burnout. It's a survival mechanism, rewired for the smartphone era. But here's where the irony gets painful. We often stop replying to the people who matter most. It's a paradox of appreciation. Because you value them, you feel like a hey isn't enough. You tell yourself you'll reply when you have the energy to be brilliant, present, and perfect. But that perfectionism becomes its own weight. The more you care, the higher the stakes feel, until the pressure to give a worthy response paralyzes you completely. You aren't ignoring them because they're unimportant. You're silent because they're too important to fail. But here's where it gets darker. That 1 day delay turns into 3. 3 days become a week. Suddenly, the simple act of typing "sorry for the late reply" feels like trying to climb Everest. You're trapped in a spiral of digital guilt. Every time you see their name in your inbox, your stomach drops. You want to reach out, but the shame of your own silence has grown so large that it feels impossible to bridge the gap. So you keep avoiding it, not because you don't care, but because you've let the mountain grow too high to climb. In the real world, these people are often the overfunctioners. They are the ones holding everything together, the reliable employee, the rock of the family, the friend who never says no. They carry so much weight in their physical lives that their digital space becomes the only territory where they can afford to fail. For them, ghosting isn't a personality flaw, it's an emergency power down for survival. They vanish from the screen because they are working too hard to exist everywhere else. They are the silent pillars, finally choosing to go dark. In many ways, these relationships become silent bridges. We assume the silence means the bridge has collapsed, but usually it's just under maintenance. The person on the other side isn't indifferent. They are simply exhausted from carrying the world. If you recognize yourself in this silence, or if you've been waiting on the other side of it, understand that reconnection doesn't require a grand gesture. If you have a message sitting in your inbox from 3 weeks ago, just send a small heart or a simple wave emoji. It's how you start crossing back. In our hyper-connected reality, silence is often misread as an ending, but perhaps we should see it differently. Silence isn't a period at the end of a relationship. It's a comma, a necessary pause to catch our breath in a world that never stops screaming for our attention. Understanding this doesn't just explain our behavior, it preserves our humanity. If this perspective helped decode a part of your own story or made you feel a little less alone in the quiet, consider subscribing. We're exploring the hidden psychology of our modern lives, one chapter at a time.